it is Richard Ryder!
What was that? We'll pretend I'm tall enough. So, to be 1,000% honest, I wrote the script for this thing like 4 different times, and it was drastically different every single time, and I think that was just Dionysus's way of telling me to wing it. So, for folks who saw me speak at the last Queer Volleys Pride pageant, the theme of the little speech was community and unity, especially with everything going on right now. And that was before we realized what was coming next week. So I wanted to make something lighthearted and fun, but that felt almost a little disingenuous. So we're gonna be a little real for a second.
Okay.
Especially because we're gonna have some great aftercare after this. I have lived my entire life with something called thalassophobia. That is fear of wide open and deep, dark waters. And that feels kind of applicable to where we're going right now. We're on a rickety ship heading towards a massive storm. And a lot of times it can feel like we're all sitting alone on our old little rafts by ourselves, holding on for dear life. But whenever I think about that, I remember something. Sea otters.
Yeah.
Yep.
They hold hands and trust each other to hold on as they float. They'll tie themselves to kelp. The kelp forests that they protect will hold them anchored. There's a symbiotic relationship between these things. And kelp forests are out in the middle of nowhere as far as the ocean goes. And a lot of times they are one of the main hubs of life. But you have to go so far to find one. And you have to know what you're looking for. And ain't that us? Those of us that don't have the privilege of living openly, who have to be stealth in one reason or another, you gotta know what you're looking for. Hey, I like a nice haircut, like your shoelaces, you know, those kinds of things. And they ain't the only animals, right? I mean, we have penguins. They huddle together for warmth in the rigid winters. Huddle together as a community. And ain't we all just penguins huddling together for warmth in this like cis, heteronormative, transphobic society? One penguin all by themselves ain't gonna last very long in those winters. One of us alone, we ain't meant to survive alone, especially not in times like these. So remember that we're more like a pod of dolphins. We sing, we play, we dance, and we have the great capacity to be major assholes, just like dolphins. I'm so glad y'all found that as funny as I did. Or like a school of fish. You have so many fish that are prey animals, if you want to put it that way, but the way they stay safe is by keeping together. And they all know that some of them ain't gonna make it. It's just the way it is. But them being there can protect the fish behind them. Them being there can deter at the right moment. Or even just them being there can scare off whatever might be going after them, because there's too many. These fish unionize, basically, and we need to do the same thing. And as a former Floridian, I gotta give a shout out to seagulls. Seagulls, they fly for miles to find food. They fly together in groups. When their wings get tired, they will all land on the waters and just bob and float and go wherever the water takes them. And they also have the audacity to fight for what is theirs, even if it's your french fries. For seagulls, it's french fries. For us, it's bodily autonomy. And french fries. I will steal your french fries. So, all of this is to say, is when you have a fear of the unknown, which is very natural, very human, it's always best to remember that you are never in this alone. Like, I can't see half your faces because these lights right now, but I know you're there. And where would we be without each other? Where would we be without these venues that host our events, without these people who take leadership and run these events? We ain't floating out at sea by ourselves. Hell, we ain't doing anything by ourselves. No matter what anyone tries to say, oh, well, there ain't so many of you. Why do you need to make such big fuss? There's only a couple of you. I've never met a trans person. Why do they need blah, 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 blah. We know from this sold-out show tonight that so we just gotta remember to be like the penguins, huddling together for warmth, keeping each other safe. We gotta be like the sea otters and remember to hold hands and stick together. And I think if we can remember to unionize like a school of fish. Did anyone see Finding Nemo like a couple of years ago? Just keep swimming. All of those fish were able to break that fishing boat and be free. And we ain't fighting against a boat. We're fighting against people with addresses. I think I don't gotta say anything more than that. And with that, I guess I'll end it with just keep swimming, folks.
Give it up for Richard Ryder.